STARLINK internet when you need it, where you need it, pretty much all over the world. Guys, you can do pretty high speed internet with this unit. Get it going. We're going to unbox this thing, kind of show you what you can do with it, set it up, and I'll explain the reason that I got a STARLINK for my personal use and for other things in the preparedness stuff. Stick with me and we're going to unbox this thing. Alright guys, as you can see, I've got the STARLINK Standard kit. I did not order this from STARLINK's website. Actually, I found out Best Buy keeps them in stock here in Bowling Green. Also, Home Depot sells them. They're all the same price, no matter where you get. This was $3.49 plus tax. But I also found out that if you buy it from Home Depot or Best Buy, you don't have to pay the $20 shipping if you order it from online. So I saved 20 bucks on that. But guys, we're going to unbox this thing. I have never played with the STARLINK before. I've hooked up to them, but never set one up. So we're going to get it unboxed, show you what comes in the box. I'm going to activate this with the STARLINK app. I've already downloaded it. I hadn't activated or done anything. We're going to get this thing unboxed, and I'll show you what's in it. Here is the dish. This is the standard dish. I didn't buy the the mini. I thought about it, but it just wasn't worth the price difference to me. This is $3.49 for the standard kit. The minis are $5.99. I personally wasn't going to take this backpacking or anything like that. I bought this for if I'm going to do more deployments with grindstone like I did in East Tennessee and West North Carolina, or if I do anything else like that, or I'm going to use it here at the house if we have any kind of outages. But here is the dish. Honestly, this thing's pretty lightweight. You got the dish. Love the instructions. Heck, I even think I can follow these instructions. You have got, this is the Gen 3 router. You got your power cable. Somebody will roast me, but I guess this is your internet or your Ethernet cable that's on here. And then we got the power supply and power block. That's pretty much everything. We got little instructions. Let me get this thing set up. We'll set it up out in front of the shop, hook the router up, hook power up to it, and we're going to kind of get this thing going. We'll be right back. The reason that I bought a STARLINK for myself is I went over with Grindstone Ministries to East Tennessee, Western North Carolina. Those people are still without power. It's been, I think, a month and a half. A lot of places still do not have power. They don't have internet access, cell phone service, anything like that. And I saw some of these smaller communities that we were setting STARLINKs up, and STARLINKs had been set up in these smaller communities. Of course, they were running them off generators, but then that way the people had a way to communicate. They had internet. I know your iPhone will run on Wi-Fi. You can do Wi-Fi texting and Wi-Fi calling if you've got internet. So that's what people were using to communicate over there. That, and they also had internet to where they could get on their computer, send emails, look at stuff, look at the weather, all that kind of stuff. So that's the big reason that I went and bought a STARLINK, is because after I saw what happened over there, if you think about it, if a disaster comes through and takes out, essentially if it takes out the power, a lot of times it's going to take out your internet and your cell phone services too. So this is just another layer of preparedness that I've prepared for me and my family to where we can have communications in a grid down situation. Because essentially it took me, I mean, you could set one of these up in less than 5 minutes, have the power supply going to it. And yes, it does take 10 to 15 minutes for it to get fully right and fully connect with the satellites. But within less than 20 minutes, you can have your backup internet going. And this thing is pretty stinking quick. You can watch YouTube videos on it. You can send email, do the Wi-Fi calling, do Wi-Fi text messages, all that stuff. But I've got it as our backup internet source and communication source. If the grid goes down, literally in 20 minutes, you can have this thing up and going, full internet. I'm not worried about, you know, it's not like a 300 megabits or anything like that. We're looking 150, something like that. I'm not worried about high-speed gaming and stuff like that. I want to be able to get on the internet, send emails, check email, maybe do some streaming, stuff like that to keep the kids happy if they want to watch Netflix or YouTube or something like that. But guys, this is just another layer of preparedness. It's just like a layer of an onion. You're always peeling stuff back and adding more layers on there. So guys, go check out the STARLINK. I got this one as a STARLINK Standard on the Roam plan because I plan on using it at different locations and stuff like that. And also with the Roam plan, this one's $165 a month. But the nice thing about the Roam is you can turn it on and off when you want to use it. So I've got it on right now. I'm going to play with it some more, see what it can and can't do, kind of see the range of it, how far I can get away, how much of the property it will do. But as soon as I'm done with it, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. So you don't have to pay the $165 a month every month. You can turn it on and off when you want to use it. If we decided to go on a camping trip for a week, pack everything up in there, and turn it on when we get there, and then you've got internet for the week or so that you're gone, and then when you're done you can turn it off. And I'm pretty sure it's a prorated plan. But guys, go check out the STARLINK. This is not a sponsored ad or sponsored video. I bought this with my own money, and but now we'll go in and you can watch me setting this up and using it. All right, we're out in front of the shop. Essentially due south is kind of, yeah, it's kind of that way. Yeah, well, no, south is this way. You want it to point it with the STARLINK app, you're wanting to point it north. So essentially we're going to set it up here. It's got a decent a decent look pointed north for the sky. We can probably pull it over here a little bit more and I just want to make sure that I've got enough cord. I forgot how long this cord is, but I want to make sure I've got enough cord to run it inside the shop and set the router up. So what we're going to do on the back of the unit is your plug. I guess that's going to be your Ethernet plug. I'm not a great guru of technology, but we'll take this, plug one end in, and these are actually a waterproof connection. Plug it in. We're going to set this down. Pointed north. I'm going to take the other end of the cable. We're going to run into the shop. You can see what that looks like. We'll take the other end of the cable into the shop, hook up the router and all that stuff, and then we'll show you what that looks like. All right, awesome, simple instructions on this. I mean, I love the instructions. I hate reading stuff, but looking at pictures is fine. All right, so what we've got our Ethernet cable that's running from outside in the parking lot of the shop over to, this is your router. You plug this back in there. It's pretty much idiot proof. You've got one plug on there that'll fit. So there, we're plugged in. Now we're going to take our power supply to the other plug on the back. Plug it in. It has also got this little block if you want to hardwire like your laptop or your computer or something with Ethernet, you can do that. But it also takes away the IP rating. I forgot what, I think these are IP67 rated. But if you do take that out, your IP rating is done. So now what we're ready to do is get some power to this joker. And I've got an extension cord. I'm just running this right now just to hook it up, see what it does, and play with it. This is not going to be a permanent installation ever. At my house, we've got fiber coming into the house for internet. I bought this specifically for emergency uses and for deployments for disaster relief stuff. Let me get, we're just going to plug it up with an extension cord. And we we got power. Now, we're going to go over on the app. All right, if you can see this, it says find a clear view of the sky. Your STARLINK will need to be outdoors with a complete view of the sky. Stay connected to the satellites. All right. I have a clear view. We're doing continue with the kickstand. Plug up STARLINK and router. We're plugged up. Connect to STARLINK Wi-Fi. Connect your STARLINK Wi-Fi and your device's setting and come back. Let's open our settings. All right. Now I am connected. So let's go back. It's establishing a connection now. All right. It is successfully paired. Let's continue. Right now it's booting up, so let's let it boot up and then we'll come back. All right, that took a few extra minutes on that. I had to go ahead and set up my account, do all the billing, stuff like that. I wasn't gonna bore you with it. Essentially, it's put in your debit or your credit card number, put in your address, stuff like that. So the STARLINK is, as you can see, if you can see, we are online. Now what we're gonna do, and we're in the STARLINK app right now. So let's see. Let's do the alignment, see how close we are to aligned. As you can see, it's out just a little bit. So what we need to do, I'm gonna come over here and turn this, and it will show me on there. All right. Now it shows your STARLINK is pointed in the right direction and it lights up. So we're good on that. So let's see if we can view any obstructions. It's going through and seeing if there's any obstructions in there. It says this usually takes about an hour, so we're not gonna do. Let's make sure we're aligned. We're still aligned good. Let's look at our statistics. We'll go inside the shop and look, we're all set up. I'll shoot you back in the shop and show you that. And then what we'll do a speed test and some stuff like that and talk a little bit more about the unit. Right there is a picture of the unit. It's just sitting out in front of the shop. We'll pan around. There's the shop. And I just set it out here where it's got a nice clear view. There's some trees out in front of the shop, but it's in between trees and it looks like it's got a nice view. Angled it and it's set right there where it's supposed to be setting. Now we're going to run in the shop, run some speed tests and stuff like that and see how good this thing does. All right, we're back just right in the front of the shop. I got my cabinets and stuff set up here, but we've got our Ethernet cable run into our router. Our power block is plugged into the router, providing power for it. Super simple setup. It usually takes, from what I've read and looked at videos, it'll take about 10 minutes, something like that, for it to calibrate itself, hook up to the satellites and all that. So we've done all that, and we'll go in here in my office. We're going to run some speed tests and kind of see what's going on with this thing, and I'll show you the results of the speed test and stuff like that. All right, guys, we're back in the shop. I'm sitting at the desk. I've got it pulled up on the STARLINK app. We're going to run a speed test on this just to see what we're getting. Let's go ahead and run this, and I'll put it up here for you to see. Right now, it's looking a little slow. Real slow, honestly. All right, on that one, we got 47 megabits per second with, looks like 8.5 megabits upload. That doesn't really sound real good. Let's run this thing again and see what it does. Looks like it's going to be about the same. I'm honestly kind of disappointed in the speed of this. It might just take a little while for it to get in, connect with the satellites. Let's see. Okay. I went in and checked on the statistics of this. Your STARLINK is just powered on. Your STARLINK just powered on. Network performance should stabilize after about 15 minutes. Because right now we're at only a 78% pinging success. The latency is 32 milliseconds. So let's wait and see. On this, we'll give it a few minutes. One nice thing about this is the power draw is only average in the last 15 minutes was 33 watts. So let's give it a little bit of time and see what it does. And we'll get back and run some more speed tests. All right, guys, the STARLINK has been up and online and running for about 30 minutes now. And excuse me, let me pull up what I was going to show. All right, I ran some tests, and this is on speedtest.net, which you've got an app you can do. I ran the test on it. First test I ran was 146.15 megabits per second. The second one I ran was 70.3. Then I ran another one, it was 205.17. Then I ran another one, it was 154.83 megabits per second. That was all on speedtest.net. And then I ran STARLINK's thing. It only showed 74 megabits per second. I don't know what the difference is. I think it kind of varies depending on which way the satellite's going, stuff like that, and the path of it. I ran another one, 127 megabits per second. Now, I did run, we've got fiber here at the house that runs into the house and the shop. I ran speed test on it. We're getting somewhere 300 to 400 megabits per second. So kind of if you take the average of what STARLINK is doing with this, it's running probably about half the speed. I watched a full 8-minute video while I was waiting for this to go and waiting to finish filming some of this up. But essentially, I could pull up YouTube, hit the video. There was no delay, no buffering, no anything. So I watched an 8 to 10 minute YouTube video with no problem whatsoever. So honestly, I think this is a great thing. I'm going to play with it a little bit more. Actually, another thing that I'm going to do with this, like I said before, I bought this to deploy in an emergency or to take on deployments in disaster zones. So what I've got is a case coming from Condition 1. It's their 31-inch large case. It's the number 1258. You can see on here. I've got one of those coming from Condition 1. I'm going to do a build on it after I get it. It's similar to a Pelican case. These are made down in Texas. So I'm going to do a thing with it where it'll fit everything in there, and I'm going to do a full build. The one thing I've got to figure out is a way to power the STARLINK, and it looks, I can pull this back up. I was wondering how much power this was going to take, so I'm going to pull up the statistics on it. And going along with the build with Condition 1, like I was saying, I want to do a build with it. The one thing that I'm wanting to do is put some way to power this. I know online a lot of guys are doing, when they've got it in their van, their RV or something like that, they've got a unit that you can plug in and it'll make it to where it runs straight off 12 volts. I'm probably not going to do that. I watched a bunch of videos on how to do it. Probably what I'm going to do is just put a small inverter into the case with it to where I can just hook up to a battery, like a 100 amp hour lithium ion battery to power that. Because it's showing the power draw. Power draw in the last 15 minutes has averaged 26 watts. So that's not a whole lot of power, honestly, going in there. So you could get by with, I mean, a 300 watt inverter is way overkill for that. I know they make small inverters, I think like a 200 or 150 watt that'll plug into a cigarette lighter that you can plug this into. So that's just another thing that we're going to add in this build. So guys, stay tuned for that, and I appreciate it.